Most events fail before they even sell a single ticket. Not because the event is bad, not because the marketing is weak, not because timing is off. They fail because the foundation was wrong from day one. Here's what I mean. Most people plan an event like this. They pick a date, they book a venue, they design a flyer, they then start posting and hoping people show up. But the event actually sells out, the ones that fill a room and make real money, they're built completely differently. They start with something most organizers skip entirely. After running 32 sold out events, I can tell you the difference between an event that sells out and one that struggles almost always comes down to what happens before you even announce the event. This is part 1 of my sellout system series. And in this video, I'm going to break down phase 1, then offer refinement. By the end, you'll understand why your event isn't selling and exactly what to fix before you launch. Let's get into it. So here's the thing about phase 1. This is the phase nobody wants to do. It's not sexy. It's not the fun part. There's no flyer design, no ads to run, no countdowns to post. It's research, it's positioning, it's strategy. But this is the phase that determines everything. Because if you get this wrong, every dollar you spend on ads later is wasted. Every email you send falls flat. Every post gets ignored. Phase 1 has 5 parts: market research, target audience research, brand positioning, and offer validation. Let me walk you through each one. First up, market research. Before you plan anything, you need to know if there's actual demand for your event. Here's what most people do wrong. They have an idea, they love it, and they assume everyone else will love it also. They don't check, they just build, then they launch and realize nobody wanted this. So instead, you research the market first. You look at what events are happening in your space. You look at what's selling out and what's struggling. You look at what people actually ask for. Basically, you become a student of the market. Check this out. If you see 3 events just like yours already selling out in your city, that's a good sign. That means demand exists. You're not creating a market from scratch. You're entering one that's already hot. But if you look around and nobody's doing anything like your event, that's not always a good sign. Sometimes it means you found a gap, but sometimes it means people already tried it and it didn't work. Your job in market research is to figure out which one it is. For example, this is the first thing I do when working with any client. We always start with market research because I want to validate their idea. I want to see what other people are doing in the industry and what is working and what's not working. For example, I had a client who wanted to launch an event series. He literally picked a date and was ready to go. But then after working with me, we started doing market research, and then we found that there was a lot of demand in this market. So it validated his idea and gave us the green light to move forward full steam. Even for my event series, Art-Led Events, I started with market research. We found that there was no other event series in our local area that was doing networking with our experiences, which then gave us the green light to push forward. Market research also allowed us to find the positives and negatives of doing this series inside of this location. And that's market research. You're validating demand before you invest a single dollar. All right, next we have competitor analysis. Once you know the market exists, you look at who's already in it. And I don't mean this in a copy what they're doing way. I mean the opposite. You study your competitors so you can do something different. Here's how you do it. You find the events similar to yours. You look at their pricing. You look at their positioning. You look at what they're promising. You look at how they're talking to their audience. I would even recommend spending some money and attending their events. We're doing research here. Studying your competitors is critical. Then you ask yourself one question. What can I do that they're not? Because here's the truth. If your event looks like every other event out there, people have no reason to choose yours. You just become another option in a sea of options. But if you position yourself differently, if you fill a gap they're missing, now you stand out. Now you're not competing, you're in your own lane. Now, when I'm doing competitor research for my clients, I'm looking for this exact thing. What is their ticket price? How big is the market? What gaps can we fill and what can we do differently? For example, I was working with a client who was doing adult prom. We looked at all the other competitors in this area and we found not a lot of other people were doing experiential dinners as well as giving out an award. Now, this took us from playing the same game as everyone else to now staying in our own lane and swimming in a blue ocean. And that's competitor analysis. You study the field so you can stand apart from it. All right, part 3 is target audience research. This is where you get crystal clear on who your event is actually for. Most people say their event is for everyone. That's the biggest mistake you can make, because when you try to appeal everyone, you connect with no one. So instead, you need to niche down. You figure out exactly who your ideal audience is. Not just demographics like age and location. I'm talking deeper, way deeper than that. What do they struggle with? What do they want? What keeps them up at night? What would make them say, I have to be there? Here's why this matters so much. When you know your audience at this level, your marketing writes itself. You know exactly what to say because you know exactly who you're talking to. You're not guessing anymore. You're speaking directly to one specific person. And when you do this, the person feels like the event was made just for them, because it was. And this, I must say, is one of the biggest reasons why most event organizers or event series do not sell well. They're targeting everyone and they're not talking to a specific avatar. You need to hone this down. You need to figure out exactly what's going on in the minds of your prospective clients. For example, I was working with a client who did events for children. All his ad copy, his landing page, everything was built for the kids. However, his audience was parents. It was the parents who was spending the money. It was the parents who was taking out the credit card from their wallet and making that purchase. And because he wasn't speaking to the parents, his sales was low. And once we swapped this and changed the messaging to the parents, then this is when his ticket sales started to take off. We changed the messaging, we changed the branding, we changed the marketing material, we changed the advertising, and everything scaled from there. So that's audience research. You get so clear on who you're serving that your marketing becomes effortless. Now, real quick, before I get into the last two parts of phase one, everything I'm walking you through here is the foundation, but there's a lot more that goes into each of these steps. So I put together a free mini course that breaks down my entire process. It goes deeper than I can in this video. The exact frameworks I use, the questions I ask, the templates I built over 32 events. If you want to actually implement this for your own event, that mini course will walk you through it step by step. It's completely free. Link is in the description. Go grab it, then come right back, because the next two phases are where everything comes together. All right, let's keep going. Okay, part 4, brand positioning. This is where everything you've researched turned into a clear identity for your event. Positioning is basically the answer to this question. Why should someone choose your event over every other option? And this is where the magic happens, because you've done the market research. You know the competitors, you know your audience. Now you combine all of that into one clear positioning. Here's what good positioning look like. When someone hears about your event, they immediately get it. They know who it's for. They know what makes it different. They know why it matters. Bad positioning is vague. Come to my networking event. Okay, why? What makes it special? Who's it for? Good positioning is specific. The only event where blank audience come together to specific outcome. Now, people instantly understand. And when your positioning is dialed in, people self-select. The right people see it and think, this is for me. The wrong people scroll past, and that's exactly what you want. When building my record label, Lalantis Records, we spent a lot of time on branding and brand positioning. What kind of music do we want to represent? What kind of community do we want to build? What kind of artwork do we want to define our brand? What style, what color palette, and how do we stand out from everyone else? Because we did all of this, now our label is known in the space. People identify a specific sound with us. They know what kind of music to expect by coming to our event. They know what kind of people will be at the event. And overall, it builds a huge community. And this is why we've been able to scale our events from 200 people to over 5,000 people. Branding is everything when it comes to building a successful event. So make sure you're spending a lot of time in this area. And this is where a lot of event organizers and promoters fall short. So that's brand positioning. You take all your research and turn it into a clear reason to choose you. And finally, part 5, offer validation. This is the last part of phase 1, and it's the one that ties everything together. Your offer is basically the full package. It's the event, the promise, the price, the experience, all of it. And before you go and spend any money on marketing, you want to validate that people actually want it. So here's how you validate. You put your offer in front of real people from your target audience. You watch their reaction. Do their eyes light up? Do they ask, when is it? Do they say, I'm in? Or do they hesitate? Do they say, sounds cool, and change the subject, because sounds cool means no. If people aren't excited when they hear your offer, something's off. Maybe the positioning, maybe the price, maybe the promise isn't strong enough. Better to find out now before you launch than after you spent thousands of dollars on ads. Check this out. When your offer is validated, selling becomes easy. You already know people want it. Now you're just getting it in front of more of them. When I'm trying to test an offer or validate an event series, what I do is I create a custom landing page with Claude and all these AI tools. Landing pages are so easy to create now. We come up with the offer we think the target audience will like, and then we build a landing page around it. So basically the landing page will collect their name and email, and then we spend a couple dollars on paid ads to start building an email list. For example, one of my clients who does classic events in multiple cities in the Netherlands, we are validating his event series in locations before we get there. We created a landing page, we created a lead magnet, and now we're running paid ads into that location to get and build an email database. Then once we have a big enough database, we lock in a venue and start selling tickets in that location. And if you struggle to validate your event series, 1, hit me up, and 2, that is a big red flag. And that's offer validation. You confirm people want it before you scale. So that's phase 1, market research, competitor analysis, audience research, brand positioning, offer validation. And at the end of this phase, you walk away with one thing: a clear, testable offer statement and a messaging framework. That's your foundation. That's the thing everything else gets built on. Your funnel, your email, your content, your ads, all of it comes back to this foundation. If the foundation is solid, everything you built on top of it works. If it's shaky, everything you build on top of it falls apart. And that's why phase 1 matters more than anything else. And this is the #1 phase where everyone skips. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Most event organizers skip straight to the fun stuff, the flyers, the ads, the posting, and then they wonder why no one buys. But the events that sell out, they're built on foundation. They do the work in phase 1 that no one else wants to do. And that's exactly why they win. So if you're planning an event right now, start here. Do the research, nail the positioning, validate the offer, get the foundation right before you build anything else. And if you go through this and realize this is a lot, I don't have time for all of this, or I want someone who's done this before to handle it, that's exactly what we do. We build this entire system for event organizers, all 5 phases, from the foundation all the way through to launching your paid ads. If you want help building a sold out event from the ground up, there's a link in the description to book a call. We'll look at your event, figure out where you are, and see if it's a fit to work together. But wherever you're at, whether you do this for yourself or bring us in, get phase 1 right. Everything depends on it. This was part 1 of the Sellout System series. In the next video, I'm breaking down phase 2. How we build the funnels and the automations that turn interest into ticket sales. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And I'll see you in the next video.